everyone, it's Coach Fro from RocioFlores.com, and I'm doing my daily life Bible reading. I am going to paste the chapter we're in here. Yeah, so when people come in, they already know what I'm doing. So, hi. Hope everyone's doing okay today. It's Tuesday, right? Is it Tuesday? Barely. It feels like it's been like a week. It's like just been a heavy, I don't know how to see. Yeah, it's only Tuesday. Dang. It feels like, I don't know, there's like heaviness around the world. And, yeah. I'm not a big fan of that. But, I guess all we can do is just continue living the way we can keep living. I actually just wrote a post about that. That'll come out later in a few days, where it talks about just every day, all we got to do is just do what we got to do. And do what we can do with what we have and is available to us. So that's all we can do. I do hope everyone's safe and everyone's doing well and everybody's safe and healthy and everything. And if you need support or you need help or you just need just someone to talk to, reach out to me. If you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to. I can give you resources for other people you can talk to that are, especially if you just want to be like anonymous, but I can help with that. Or I can talk to you. So just reach out. So today we're doing chapter 42, and we're going through the whole story of Joseph and his life, I guess, and how he goes from his brothers basically getting rid of him in what seems like a very movie style kind of way to him now he's gonna rise up again, and he's gonna have, well, I guess that's what we're gonna read about today. He's going to Egypt, and he has now been put in charge of all of the food, and we just saw the 7 years of abundance, and now we're gonna see what happens when there's now a big famine in the land and how that all turns out. So we're just gonna keep going from there. All right, chapter 42. When Jacob learned that there was grain in Egypt, he said to his sons, "Why do you keep looking at each other? Listen," he went on, "I have heard there's grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us, that we will live and not die." So that we will live and not die. So 10 of Joseph's brothers went down to buy grain from Egypt. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he thought something might happen to him. The sons of Israel were among those who came to buy grain, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. Joseph was in charge of the country. He sold grain to all its people. His brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the ground. When Joseph saw his brothers, he recognized them, but he treated them like strangers and spoke harshly to them. Well, so would you, right? Like, if your brothers just decided to, sell you off to slavery, you probably wouldn't be having positive feelings towards him, right? So I think that's very understandable. So, 7, right? "Where do you come from?" he asked. "From the land of Canaan to buy food," they replied. Although Joseph recognized his brothers, they did not recognize him. Joseph remembered his dreams about them and said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the weakness of the land." "No, my lord, your servants have come to buy food," they said. "We are all sons of one man. We are honest. Your servants are not spies. Your servants are not spies." 12. "No," he said to them, "you have come to see the weakness of the land." But they replied, "We, your servants, were 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. The youngest is now with our father, and one is no longer living." Then Joseph said to them, "I have spoken. You are spies. This is how you will be tested. As surely as Pharaoh lives, you will not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one from among you to get your brother. The rest of you will be in prison so that your words can be tested to see if they're true. If they are not, then as surely as Pharaoh lives, you are spies." So Joseph imprisoned them together for 3 days. A little harsh. On the 3rd day, Joseph said to them, "I fear God. Do this, and you will live. If you are honest, let one of you be confined to the guardhouse, while the rest of you go and take grain to relieve the hunger of your households." Hello! Lost my spot. Okay. "Bring your youngest brother to me so that your words can be confirmed. Then you won't die." And they consented to this. Then they said to each other, "Obviously, we're being punished for what we did to our brother. We saw his deep distress when he pleaded with us, but we would not listen. That is why this trouble has come to us." But Reuben replied, "Didn't I tell you not to harm the boy? But you wouldn't listen. Now we must account for his blood." I like that that's their response. They're like, "Oh, this is happening to us now because of what we did back then." So they're still being grieved by what they did. I think in any ways it's kind of like a positive reaction to having done something negative. versus them being like, it wasn't a big deal, right? You would think that normal people with a normal, healthy response would be feeling bad for having done something bad, even if they still did the bad thing. I think there's some redemption in that versus people who are proud of not having done good things. Okay. They did not realize that Joseph understood them, since there was an interpreter between them. He turned away from them and wept. Then he turned back and spoke to them. He took Simeon from them, and he had him bound before their eyes. Joseph then gave orders to fill their containers with grain, return each man's money to his sack, and give them provisions for their journey. This order was carried out. They loaded the grain on their donkeys and left there. The brothers returned home. 27. At the place where they lodged for the night, one of them opened his sack to get feed for his donkey, and he saw his money there at the top of the bag. He said to the brothers, "My money's been returned. It's here in my bag." Their hearts sank. Trembling, they turned to one another and said, What is this that God has done to us? Then they reached their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. They told him all that had happened to them. The man who is the lord of the country spoke harshly to us and accused us of spying on the country. But we told him, "We are honest and not spies. We were 12 brothers, sons of the same father. One is no longer living, and the youngest is now with your father in the land of Canaan." The man who is the lord of the country said to us, "This is how I will know you were honest. Leave one brother with me. Take food to relieve the hunger of the households, and go, bring back the youngest brother to me, and I will know that you are not spies, but honest men. I will then give your brother back to you, and you could trade in the country." As they began emptying their sacks, there in each man's sacks was his bag of money. When they and their father saw their bags of money, they were afraid. Their father Jacob said to them, "You have deprived me of my sons. Joseph is gone, and Simeon is gone. Now you want to take Benjamin? Everything happens to me." Then Reuben said to his father, "You can kill my 2 sons if I don't bring them back to you. Put him in my care, and I will return him to you." But Jacob answered, "My son will not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he alone is left. If anything happens to him on your journey, you will bring my gray hairs down to Sheol in sorrow." There's 2 things that stood out to me. One was when they saw the bad thing happen right off the bat, they were like, "Oh my God, why is God doing this to us?" Which I think is a very human response. I think most of us have that response. I think it's normal for people automatic to be like, "Oh my God, why is God allowing this?" Right? And then down below where he goes, he's like, "Everything happens to me." I was just reading because sometimes I have to share like cognitive distortions with people when I'm working through coaching programs, and one of the cognitive distortions is black or white thinking, and so that's when we're basically we see things as like it's either or, right? So there's either or there's catastrophizing, or there's using words like should, or never, or always, right? And so those kind of words basically, they have this in this mindset that something bad happens and suddenly it's like everything is always bad, and we no longer see any of the positive. Hello. And so when we can't see any of the positive, we genuinely believe that everything is negative, everything is bad, and that gets stuck in our mind, and it seems to make sense because we're reinforcing it every time it happens, right? Every time that we get a thought, you're like, "See, that's what I said. That always happens to me." So I think it's interesting to see that that's how he responded, because that's how a lot of us respond. It's something that our brain does. It doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's helpful in any way, shape, or form, but it is something that happens. So I just thought it was funny how that's the first thing he went to, because I think it's so human of him and so human of a story for us to just, when bad things happen, we're like, "Oh my God, this always happens to me," or like, "I can never get past this," or "Why is God doing this to me?" So I just think that's funny. Not funny in a good way, but funny, like it's just something that keeps happening. So we just gotta, that's what I'm taking from this, is that like they're human, like we're human, and it's just something that happens and we all do it. And we'll see how the story continues, because the story obviously continues, meaning that the worst of the worst didn't just happen to him. But that's it for today. Tomorrow I'm going to read chapter 43, and then we'll continue from there. If you're not caught up, if you haven't been reading, or if you want to go back and read the full book of Job, make sure you go to my bit.ly/RoseDailyLife Bible reading. I will paste it on here again. And yeah, thank you so much for being on here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe, wash your hands, stay healthy, and reach out if you want to talk. Bye, guys.